Hey there, are you melting yet? I'm going to tell you how to survive this heat. Heat kills more people than all hurricanes, floods, and tornadoes combined. In the US, heat-related deaths increased by more than 50% between 2000 and 2025. In 2003, a single heat wave killed 70,000 people across Europe in one summer. And most of them didn't die in the desert, not in the wilderness. They died at home, in their apartments, on their couches. Yes, asphalt can fry an egg. At 50 to 70 degrees Celsius, which is exactly what pavement reaches on a hot summer day, the bitumen softens and starts to cook whatever touches it. The problem is, the asphalt doesn't plan to stop at the egg. You could be next. Heat is the most underestimated natural phenomenon. A hurricane is visible. A flood is visible. Heat just arrives, quietly, and kills the people who weren't ready. Good news. Heat is survivable. Bad news. Most people find out how to survive it a little too late, roughly around the point when they can no longer think clearly enough to apply the information. In this video, you'll learn 5 things. What happens to a city in extreme heat? And why asphalt is more dangerous than the sun. How to cool your apartment without AC, and why a fan sometimes makes things worse. What to drink, when to drink, and what you absolutely should not drink in the heat. How to recognize heat stroke, and what to do with a bathtub that could save a life. And when the forest saves you from the heat, and when it kills you. Stay until the end. The section on heat stroke and the bathtub is where most people get it wrong, and that mistake costs lives. Air temperature on a hot day, 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. Surface temperature of asphalt in the same conditions, 50 to 70 degrees. That's a difference of 20 to 30 degrees. You're walking across a frying pan. Asphalt is black. Black absorbs nearly all solar radiation and converts it to heat. And it's dense, so it holds that heat for hours after sunset. That's why the city stays hot at night when the countryside has already cooled down. At what temperature does asphalt actually start to soften? Asphalt begins to go soft around 50 to 60 degrees Celsius on the surface. It doesn't flow like water. It becomes sticky and pliable, like warm clay. This is exactly why thin-soled shoes can genuinely get stuck in asphalt on a hot day. This isn't an urban legend, it's physics. Rubber softens at the same temperature as asphalt bitumen, and they bond together. If you're wearing expensive shoes, in 40-degree heat, put on something with a thick sole. Or leave the shoes at home next to the eggs. At air temperatures above 38 degrees, asphalt in sun-exposed cities reaches 65 to 70 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to cause burns through thin shoe soles in a few minutes. Same reason vets warn you, don't walk your dog on asphalt in extreme heat. Paws burn faster than you think. The urban heat island effect. The center of a large city in a heat wave runs 5 to 12 degrees hotter than the surrounding suburbs and countryside. Asphalt, concrete, glass, exhaust heat, it all accumulates and radiates. Where to hide in the city? For free. The subway in extreme heat is the only place a person voluntarily goes underground and is genuinely glad to be there. Temperatures underground are a consistent 10 to 15 degrees lower than the surface. Shopping malls, libraries, museums, movie theaters, free air conditioning, no questions asked. Walk in like you belong. Nobody checks. Parks with trees and fountains. Trees cool the air around them through transpiration, evaporating water through their leaves. Temperature under a tree canopy can be up to 8 degrees lower than the open street. If you have air conditioning, the optimal temperature setting is 24 to 26 degrees Celsius, not 18. The gap between indoor and outdoor temperature shouldn't exceed 7 degrees. A sharp temperature shock is hard on the cardiovascular system. Close blinds and curtains on south and west-facing windows before the sun starts hitting them. This matters more than how powerful your AC is. No air conditioning? The bathtub is your best tool. Most people do this wrong, and doing it wrong can actually cause harm. Do not fill the tub with ice-cold water and jump in. Sudden extreme cooling causes vascular spasm, especially dangerous when the body is already overheated. It can trigger cardiac arrest in people with cardiovascular conditions. The correct cool bath for heat water temperature, 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. Cool, but not cold. A few degrees below your comfortable body temperature. Get in gradually. Legs first, then the rest of the body. Let your system adjust. Stay in for 15 to 20 minutes. That's enough to lower your core temperature by 1 to 2 degrees. After the bath, don't dry off completely. Let the water evaporate from your skin. Evaporation provides additional cooling. If you think 20 minutes in a cool bath sounds like punishment, remember it's 42 degrees outside and the asphalt is softening. Suddenly the bathtub sounds like a resort. Now, the truth about the fan. The WHO and CDC both warn that a fan stops cooling you once air temperature exceeds 35 degrees Celsius. Above that threshold, it's just circulating hot air around your body. A fan at 40 degrees is like a convection oven set to grill. Technically, air is moving. Technically, something is happening. But you're still cooking. Just evenly, from all sides. How to make a fan actually useful in heat. Place a basin of cold water or ice cubes in front of it. The air passes through evaporation and cools. Or hang a wet sheet in front of it, same principle. Or simply direct it at wet skin. Evaporation from skin is effective cooling. In heat, the body loses up to 1 to 1.5 liters of fluid per hour through sweat. During physical activity, up to 2 to 3 liters. A 2% loss of body weight in fluid reduces cognitive function by 20%. At 5 to 8%, heat exhaustion. At 10% or more, heat stroke. The core rule: drink before you feel thirsty. Thirst is your body saying, "Too late, I'm already dehydrated." By that point, you've already lost 1 to 2% of your fluid and your brain is already running slower. Which is exactly why dehydrated people often don't realize they need water. A classic problem. In heat, 2.5 to 3.5 liters of water per day. Drink in small portions, 150 to 200 milliliters every 20 to 30 minutes. Not in big gulps. What not to drink? Alcohol is a diuretic. 1 can of beer in the heat removes more fluid than it contains. You think you're drinking, you're actually dehydrating. Coffee and energy drinks, same effect. Caffeine accelerates fluid loss. Sugary sodas, high sugar content slows water absorption in the intestine. Beer on the beach at 40 degrees is not cooling down. It's artistically disguised dehydration with a foam topping. Your body doesn't understand the aesthetics. It only counts fluid balance. What to drink? Water. Water with a pinch of salt and lemon. It replaces electrolytes lost through sweat. And counterintuitively, hot green tea. It dilates blood vessels and increases sweating, which cools the body. Yes, hot tea cools you more effectively than cold tea in extreme heat. This has been scientifically verified. Heat exhaustion and heat stroke are not the same thing, and the difference matters. Heat exhaustion, body temperature up to 40 degrees, pale, damp, sweaty skin, weakness, dizziness, dangerous but manageable. Move to a cool place, drink water. Heat stroke, body temperature 40 degrees and above. Skin is hot, red, and dry. No sweating. Confusion, delirium, loss of consciousness. This is a medical emergency. Call an ambulance immediately. Dry, hot skin in the heat is the alarm signal. It means the body has stopped sweating. The cooling mechanism has shut down. Every minute matters. What to do while waiting for the ambulance? The bathtub. Your goal is to start cooling immediately. Every minute at high body temperature damages the brain, kidneys, and heart. Fill the tub with cold water, not ice cold, but the coldest from the tap. 10 to 15 degrees Celsius is ideal. Submerge the person up to the neck. Cold water immersion lowers body temperature 3 to 4 times faster than any other method available at home. Add ice if you have it, in bags or directly in the water. 2 to 10 degrees Celsius is the medical standard for heat stroke cooling. Target core temperature. Bring it down to 38.5 degrees Celsius, then remove from the water. Not lower, you don't want to overcool. Wet towels on the neck, armpits, and groin. Major blood vessels run there. Cooling at those points is most effective. The Corey Stringer Institute tracked cold water immersion for heat stroke over 18 years at a major road race. Their result, 100% survival rate. This is the gold standard of heat stroke treatment. Do not give water to drink to someone who is unconscious or confused. Cooling first. Water when they're conscious again. The forest in heat is a natural air conditioner. Trees evaporate water through their leaves, a process called transpiration, and literally cool the surrounding air. Temperature under a forest canopy is 5 to 10 degrees lower than in direct sunlight. A dense, deciduous forest reduces solar radiation by 90%. Go to the forest if you don't have AC and don't have a bathtub. 30 minutes in the shade of trees cools you more effectively than an hour with a fan at home. When the forest can kill you. A closed, dense forest with no wind and extreme humidity is a trap. High temperature plus high humidity means sweating stops helping. Your sweat doesn't evaporate because the air is already saturated with moisture. If there's no wind and humidity is above 70%, it's better to stay home than go into the forest. If you do go out, early morning before 10 or evening after 6. Slow movement. More water than you think you need. If the heat catches you off guard, remember 4 things. First, in the city, find shade, subway, shopping centers, parks with trees. Stay away from asphalt and glass. Second, at home, close blinds from 10 to 6, cool bath for 20 minutes, fan with a wet towel in front. Cool water, not ice cold. Third, drink water before you're thirsty. No alcohol or coffee in the heat. Water with a pinch of salt and lemon beats any sports drink. Fourth, know the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Dry, hot skin means call an ambulance immediately. While waiting, cold bathtub, ice in the water, focus on the neck and armpits. Heat kills quietly, without warning, without drama. It just gets a little hotter, then a little more. And then you can no longer think clearly enough to help yourself. Now you know what to do. Subscribe, because the next videos on this channel might matter more than you think. And one last thing. Frying an egg on the asphalt. Yes, it works. Verified. But health codes say nothing about it, and the sidewalk situation raises some questions. I recommend a pan. At minimum, out of respect for the egg. See you next time.